All right, welcome in the Bobby Carpenter Show. Big Monday show for you. Second week of OSU spring ball. We got that rolling, and that's going to be fun and exciting. So we cruise through today. Monday, just a little shells practice, nothing crazy, but then you get the pads, get those things popping, and get them rolling here throughout the remainder of the week.
What is it? What is it? Monday shells, Tuesday what?
Probably full pads, I'm guessing, Schlegs.
And then Wednesday pro day.
Yep, big week.
Now the question
about that.
Now the question, and then Thursday. What will Thursday practice be?
I'm guessing it'll be another like real deal Holyfield practice.
And then they're practicing on Saturday?
Then Saturday, which will probably be some sort of, game-ish situation, like situational stuff. Usually they do like some move the field, some third down, like red zone, whatever they have in.
Hey, let me ask you this question. So because they're practicing Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday,
Yeah.
you know how in the past, like at pro day, guys would work out, the younger guys. I would have to suspect that ain't happening
now. I would say that there's a chance. Well, you're going to need receivers for Will to be able to throw to. And the only guy that's coming out is Emeka. And then tight end, G. Scott. So you have G. Scott, Emeka, Trey, and obviously Quinshon. So those are the guys I believe that are going to be out. So, yeah, I think you'll get some of the young receivers, some of the veteran receivers to go out there and run routes. And then they'll just like be smart. You'll ratchet down their volume on Thursday of what you're asking them to do.
Yeah.
So like
I'm just walking through this process in my mind. So everybody knows out there, right? It's like, this is different than a game week coming off of a game, but you're stacking practices, you're accumulating volume after a long season, condensing that to recover and then also prepare the tissue for that. It's why at some point spring is going to go away. But I say that for this is and that's why I asked you about what is that Tuesday practice. And that Tuesday practice could be, hey, that could be maybe full pads, but it's like a red zone shorter, type deal. But you also got to remember that you're dealing with the entire roster now getting reps as opposed to just the ones and the twos getting the reps. So you can micro dose whatever those heavier days are. I'm just letting everybody understand like how you as a coach would process, hey, I got guys on Tuesday. Hey, you 3s and 4s, like, man, buckle up, Buttercup, because this is your day to shine. And then, boom, they'll go out. And then what does that Thursday look like? And then what does that Saturday look like? So, yeah, that's interesting, man. It's just where this all falls. And now on a non-typical 4-day work week with pads, bumpy because of the shortened, the condensed spring football now, Bob.
Yeah. And so that's what I'm saying. But you think about this, like these guys, like, so I don't understand they're like Ferraris and Camaro, Corvette, like super high-end performance vehicles, but you do need to get a little grit with them sometimes as well.
No doubt.
So, like you were talking about, like you just manage the volume. Hey, if you're going to have Carnell Tate and maybe JJ go out there and run 25 routes a piece during pro day for Will to help supplement, Emeka and G out there, and maybe you have Kazmarek out there running some too, or I don't know who else they would potentially have. If you're going to have
that new guy,
hey, you tell the young guys on Thursday, like you said, buckle up, Buttercup. Everybody's getting elevated. So Carnell and JJ, like, you're not getting as many reps. You're going to be, and maybe they dial them down on Tuesday as well. So, hey, young guys, this is an opportunity for you, like the Mylan Grahams, the Brandon Innes's of the world, guys like that, this is a chance for you to be the dogs now, be the leaders of this group and see what you can go out there and ultimately do. And so it's a great opportunity for those guys, but it's going to be a big week.
Yeah.
And it's a big show. We got Lathan Ransom, who's going to join us today, as he usually does on Mondays, talk a little bit about, we're here now, buddy. Like you're in it. Maybe talk a little March Madness with them as well. I know that's going to be exciting. On Saturday night, they had the NCAA finals for wrestling. And I know Schlegs, look at him over there. He's in his stance. He's got his staggered stance. And Buckeyes had a couple dudes, I guess Jesse Mendez out there wrestling for a national championship, who won, by the way. Schlegs, he gets taken down in the first period, so he's down like 4-1, maybe 5-1. I think he gets an escape on it, but, they get takedown, back, all this stuff. Battles back. Boom, takedown. All of a sudden, then he's winning by like 6 in the third, and like just ride him out and hang on. And so it's great to watch that. Super pumped for him. The heavyweights, you had Gail Stevenson, Gail
Stevenson.
Gable Stevenson, who's one of the best wrestlers in the history of NCAA. Guy had a gold medal back in 2020. Went and played in the NFL, wrestled in WWE, came back at Minnesota. And there's Wyatt Hendrickson from Oklahoma State, who had wrestled him before. I don't think he'd ever beat him. And he's down, Schlegs, in the third. He's got to be aggressive. He's got 30 seconds left. He shoots, gets the takedown. And it was unbelievable seeing that, because I don't think Gable Stevenson had ever been in that position before, where if he gets an escape in the last 15 seconds, he gets a point and you're going overtime. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you should be able to get out of that. And they interviewed him afterwards. It was unbelievable. It was one of the greatest feats of sport. And I can't remember the guy's name. But it reminded me of the wrestling that I watched probably like to 2016 or 2000. It may have been back in 08. I can't even remember. There was a Russian who had never been beached. Like, I think he was going for his 4th Olympic crown. And there was an American that got out there, and their physiques did not match up. The Russian dude looked like Ivan Drago. American dude, not as good. And he beat him. And it's like, holy smokes. Like, this was the guy that was supposed to be. We might need to throw that back up there again, Pat. We'll put the sound on with it, because I mean, I was watching that on Saturday. I could not believe what I saw. And Schlegs, for you being a big time wrestler, you look at that, knowing that 30 seconds you've got to score. You have to score, and you've got to be aggressive, because it doesn't matter whether you lose by 1 or lose by 7.
The Olympic champ is about to lose. It's 13 seconds. This could be it. Oh my goodness.
Right there, I can't believe he couldn't get out.
In the history of NCAA, could this be it? Yes, he has done it.
Wyatt Hendrickson was at the Air Force Academy for his 4 years, and he was unable to use his 5th year, COVID year. So he requested permission from the Service Academy to transfer for that COVID year, and went to Oklahoma State to wrestle, and then won a national championship. And we talk about, like, Paul Skeen, guess where he started? The Air Force Academy. Yours truly, Air Force, not to their levels, right? I didn't win a national championship like that. Or throwing the heat, bringing the heat, Ricky, in Pittsburgh. But what an awesome story of somebody that was able. Now, kudos to the Air Force Academy and, like, working this out, because I don't know all the ins and outs of.
He's going to go do his 5 years.
He went through 4 years. Like, you can't do that normally. Like, this was a thing back in the day, guys, and guys coming out. Chris Gizzy, guy, St. Ignatius from Cleveland. The guy 9/11 ran out with the flag on Monday Night Football. He was at the Air Force Academy. Back then, you had to go serve 2 years prior to even being able to go to the NFL. Now, like, this is really cool that they allowed him to do this, and I'm interested to see what he'll probably have to go back in and
he
serve.
has to go back in. They talked about last night, like, he even addressed it. So after this, he's going to do his 5 years. Like,
yeah, no doubt.
5 years of service after this.
Yeah, he graduated, right? So he's a second lieutenant. Wrestling in this year is like, hey, you got it. It's awesome that they made the concession for him to be able to go do that. Very, very cool. But to your other point, Bob, so a guy that we all in the wrestling world, if you're in your 40s, grew up admiring, was a guy named Alexander Karelin. That's the Russian. Like, jacked. And he was like, people were afraid because, like, he literally suplexed people onto their necks. He was undefeated for 13 years. And the guy that you're referring to that had a terrible body, okay, was a guy named Rulon Gardner, who beat him 5-0, threw him 3 times. Like, this is something. That's what. Exactly. I mean, like, honestly, like, this guy was walking through the snow with logs on his back. Like I see these really cool Russian videos of guys training with, like, cinder blocks and just, like, random, like, wheel looking metal objects. That's how this guy trained. But anyways, when I got recruited out of high school, I had more offers to go wrestle in college than I did football scholarships. And the problem was back then it was 197 and heavyweight. I'm like, guys, let's be real here. First off, I can't play linebacker at 230, 240 and cut to 197. And you don't want me to wrestle heavyweight. I don't want to give up 35 pounds, so it's probably not going to work out. But wrestling is hands down the hardest sport on the planet. And to understand what they're going through, and it's not just that moment, but it's the countless hours of physical training for those minutes on the mat, and for it to culminate in a national championship versus an Olympic gold medalist and somebody that hadn't been taken down all year, and to do that at the very end. And it just goes also for like the focus throughout an entire match. And it's just that one split second when somebody got you and like that was it. But that's why you train for those moments. And so it's cool to watch it on both sides, right? Like the defeat and what he's thinking about, but also the victory, what Wyatt's thinking about. And it's just a great story that he also went to the Air Force Academy. And then who else, Bob? Jesse Mendez won. Yeah. Was that his second? Buckeye.
His second.
Yeah, 2 in a row, right? So, and then there was a guy from Penn State that was the first time ever to win 5 in a row. Again, that won't ever happen again because it was a COVID year. So he won 5 in a row. And there's also, the disparity of teams. And you look at it, I mean, it's all Big Ten, but Penn State won it with 177. Ohio State ended up finishing 5th, tied with Minnesota. But it was like Penn State, Nebraska, Oklahoma State, Iowa, Minnesota, Ohio State, rounding out the top 5. But anyways, great night of wrestling. It was
amazing. My wife clicked over. She's like, "Hey, let's watch this." Basketball is going on and it's dominating the tournament. And listen, I get it. And you want to throw Mendez up there one more time because, dude, this is Buckeyes, dude. And a friend of mine, his daughter goes to Ohio State, who wrestled there. His daughter dates him, and so she was there. You could see it, and just so pumped for a guy because she's like, you know how hard that is. Like the wrestling, there are no off days when it comes to wrestling. There are no walkthroughs. Like every day you're training. And if you're not like crazy training, you have to monitor your diet. You're always like locked in on every single thing that you're doing. And so for Jesse Mendez to do that, go back to back, see Tom Ryan back there just looking like a dude in his sweet gray suit, red scarlet tie, like looking awesome. And so I was so pumped to like flip over and take a break from basketball, which like the basketball games are awesome, but they're long. So when you dive into wrestling, man, it is like 10 minutes and that's it. You're winning or losing in one mistake all of a sudden. And then they're going to the replay like, oh, did he have control? Did this happen? I mean, it is some wild stuff, but it's so fast. And so for Jesse Mendez to do that, bring another national championship to the great state of Ohio and the Buckeyes, man,
Buckeyes, man. Well, you know what, like on that shot too, like in that deal, like I thought that Stevenson had a good sprawl, but I mean, just look at the strength. I know we're not showing it again, but the strength to be able to turn that and just run your feet,
drive your legs, leg drive,
guys,
drive. Man, just churning, getting that done.
It's cool. Anyways. Sorry, we digressed.
That's how you spell toughness, Schlegs. Waffle House ready.
Waffle House.
Do you think your guy Wyatt Hendrickson was Waffle House ready?
100%.
That sweet little mustache, looking he's looking like Farva from Super Troopers. For heaven's sake,
look at him.
So good. I'm like, he's Air Force ready, Schlegs.
Air Force, man.
That was key. Flexibility is the key to air power.
Right.
There you go. He had it, and he fired at the end and got it done. I was so getting to see that live. Like there's certain things. I'm like, watching the video of it would have been great, but tuning in, not knowing what was going to happen. Buckeyes, like you couldn't have drew up any better. We got Lathan Ransom waiting for you on deck. Before we get to him, I'm going to tell everybody out there, the parents, the athletes, protect what matters most with Export mouth guards, trusted by professional athletes and designed by NHL team dentists. Export mouth guards are scientifically tested to absorb those high impact hits, protecting both your teeth and your brain. Export mouth guards feature 3 layers of advanced protection, and including a patented use of carbon fiber. They custom 3D print that thing right to your grill. More protection, better performance, max comfort, clear communication, so you can focus on your game, not on your gear. Don't take chances with your safety. Visit exportguards.com/Bobby today to save 15% on your order. Export, protect what matters most. Lathan Ransom coming up next.
Hey, Ryan, how the heck do I get our Big Play app?
Experience Cleveland's fastest growing sports network, Big Play. Packed with Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, talking Cleveland sports at any time, anywhere. Scan the QR code to download the Big Play app.
I love you, Big Play, and I love you, Cleveland.
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage Beer. Beer-flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer-flavored beer. All right, welcome back in the Bobby Carpenter Show. We appreciate you liking, subscribing, leaving your comments, getting in the chat. All that stuff is always great for us. We really appreciate it. Getting over 10,000 subscribers. That was a big, big goal. And now we're pleased to welcome in our guy, Buckeye safety, getting ready for pro day now, Lathan. Back in the friendly confines of Columbus. Got back last week. You saw a little bit of spring ball. Like what was it like seeing those young guys out there? And it's always kind of a weird feeling watching like kind of your team that's not really your team anymore practicing. You're just kind of walking around.
Yeah, man, it was awesome to get back into the facility and, to see the trophy, to see all the new banners and pictures and stuff. But like you said, it was cool to see, a lot of my teammates, man. And I was excited to see them and see how they were doing. And they were doing really well. And then to watch practice from, a different perspective, just a fan now, a cheerleader, and then try to give my 2 cents in coaching every once in a while. And then a lot of new faces, man, a lot of new coaches, new faces. So it's definitely interesting and definitely really different.
Bro, so how does it feel being back? Like, what have you had to adjust to? How are you doing your training? Talk a little bit about, like, what does that look like now that you went from where you were working on combine training and now you're at probably the Woody doing that, the recovery stuff? Like, walk everybody through how that transition is.
Yeah, luckily, being at Ohio State, you have all the machines and technology that every place has. So the routine doesn't change much. And honestly, being back at Ohio State, me having such a strict routine, it's almost simpler. Like I had to adjust and make my routine different when I, went and trained in Florida. And now I'm back here in consistent routine, consistent trainers, and back with AT and get on the field, Coach Mick. So the adjustment wasn't too bad, but it's nice to be back and in the swing of things.
So, I saw this video, Lathan, about this guy that raised this lion. They set the lion free, and then like he's out in the savannah or whatever, and like this lion comes like running up to him, and it's the lion that he raised. It's been like a number of years since he's been to it, and people are like panicking, and the guy's like not sure what's going to happen. Does he remember him or not? Like the lion comes up, like jumps and like dives on him, and like no, he doesn't kill him, Schlegs. That's not what happens. Hugs him. Like, was that, and like starts licking his face. Was that like you with Stu because you guys had spent so much time together and then you were gone for a little bit, but now you're back in the fold?
Nah, definitely a little like that. I was excited to see Stu. I actually brought him a jersey and gave him the jersey actually from the Rose Bowl, which, just full circle, man, getting injured in the Rose Bowl and then getting back, playing successful in the Rose Bowl. So I gave him that jersey. And, that was a cool moment between both of us, man, to be able to give him that. And just, like you said, we joke around about it, but, I can't never thank Stu enough and appreciate how much he's done for me, how he's changed my life, man. And, I really, a lot of my success is from him. So, I can't ever thank him enough and tell him how much I appreciate him. So to see him like that, I guess, that cub that hasn't seen that guy in a long time.
Hey, I can't believe that. I thought that uniform, they said that jersey was part of evidence for a police investigation for a homicide that happened during that game. when you murdered that dude in the hole, like that's a famous jersey now, Lathan.
Yeah, exactly. So I know that jersey meant a lot to me. I think that's a pretty cool game, but Stu deserves it more than anybody. So for him to have that, man, is dope. And I can't see. He sent me a picture of his son in the jersey. So I mean, that was awesome. That already meant enough to me.
Yeah, man. And I just want you to know that means a tremendous, more than because guys that serve you and your teammates, like we do it because we want to serve and we want to see you achieve greatness. But that means a lot to him that you would give that to him because you guys, it's mutual, right? Like you put in you were wanting to do it. He didn't have to pull you in to go do it. Like he was trying to serve you. And then look what you did, right, with it. And so really proud of you. How do you feel about the Buckeyes going to the White House on April 14th? Because the draft's not till the 26th. So tell us now, you got pro day, right? Then what? Are you going to go back? Are you going to stay here? Is it going to be, hey, we got to continue to get on a plan because once that 26 happens, boom, I'm going to rookie mini camp. So like I got to start stressing the tissue to be ready to go play some real ball, not like combine stuff. So what's that plan look like moving forward after pro day for you?
Yeah, so after pro day, I'm actually I haven't been back home in Arizona, and I can't remember the last time back home. So I want to go home for a couple of days, see my family, and then after that, man, I'm gonna go there. I have some place I work out and train there, so continue to train there, get my body right, preparation, and then I'll fly back out here. We have the spring game, so be able to enjoy the spring game, and then stay here and fly with the team to the White House. And yeah, like. When I saw that text message, I was definitely shocked and thought that was crazy. But because I don't know, when I was never ever thinking, you get to go to the White House and meet the president and do all that. So I'm excited to do that. Go out there and enjoy it all. And then after that, man, I'll most likely stay in Columbus for a little bit, and then probably steal Coach Mick's resume, how they prepare for the season and stuff with the running and doing all that. And then I'm gonna go back to Arizona and watch the draft and enjoy that time with my family. And then after that, you got I think a couple days and get straight in, like you said, rookie mini camp, and then boom, now we're back playing football. And I mean that's what I do and that's what we do. So I'm excited to do that.
Well, it's going to be tremendous. I'm extremely excited for you, Lathan. You've got pro day Wednesday. We've talked a little bit about this, some visits and some workouts, and you've got some of those plans. How have those conversations been? Is there anything else that's been popping up? And teams, I mean, I know we joked you've got the combine recheck, I believe, which is something that do you have to go to that or are you good?
I'm good. I don't have to go to the combine pre-check. So I think I did everything. Passed all the tests and
That's
physicals.
amazing. That's really honestly, I thought they'd make you come back just because, like, hey, we got to just to make sure like you're still in one piece. I was talking to Seth about it because he's got to head back, obviously, with his Achilles. And I had to go back for my ankle. And honestly, like, it was like the biggest waste of time. You come in, the guys like look at it, like, all right, yeah, you're on track. And then I left. I'm like, hold on. You tell me I went in the night before. I had to stay here the night, like wake up in the morning. You looked at me for 15 minutes and now I'm like leaving. If I was flying in from like the West Coast or somewhere, I would have been out of my mind. So it's wild. So at least that'll be good that you don't have to do that. But like the next couple weeks, I mean, the visits, the workouts, and all that stuff. I mean, has that been going as you've expected it?
Yeah, so that's what's been pretty cool, planning the visit and stuff. And actually, I have to meet with a lot of teams before pro day, like the day before, throughout that day, dinners and stuff, and then also meetings in the facility. After pro day, like directly right after the pro day, after the workout, and then the next day. So that's all going to be cool, and I'm excited to do that. I mean, I've had meetings probably every day on Zooms and where teams get to know me and I get to watch film and kind of, get on the board, which has been a lot of fun. I think I've been, separated myself doing that. And yeah, man, I'm excited. I think that anytime a team gets to meet with me, I'm excited to go out there and, separate myself from other safeties and DBs in that class.
When you're on the Zooms, do they pull up film and stuff? I mean, like do share screens and do all that? Like, I'm just curious because that wasn't a thing 20 years ago. Like we didn't have the Zoom meeting, so like I'm just curious how in depth you can get in some of that stuff.
Yeah, so a lot of the teams do different stuff. A lot, but some of them have a similar format. So they'll get on you, they'll put you through a install, and then they'll try to get to know you and know your backstory, your upbringing, and then they'll get on the film and then kind of talk about you through the defense, the calls, the checks, or what you guys do against this, that, and then they'll bring you back to the install, see if you can remember it and obtain that information. So it's a funny process because they're really it's like they're trying to, I want to say trick you, but they're trying to see how much information you can obtain and if you can spit it back to them. And yeah, man, it's been a lot of fun. I prepped really well for this, with some of the coaches at Ohio State, and they prepared me really well.
That's awesome. We're going to take a quick break, Lathan. Coming back, Schleg's got some questions he wants to talk to you about. We'll dive into those here on the Bobby Carpenter Show.
Hey, Ryan, how the heck do I get our Big Play app?
Experience Cleveland's fastest growing sports network, Big Play. Packed with Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, talking Cleveland sports at any time, anywhere. Scan the QR code to download the Big Play app.
I love you, Big Play, and I love you, Cleveland.
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer. Welcome back into the program here, and I know my man Schlegs, he's been diving to get in some stuff here. Lathan, so Schlegs, go for it.
Now that you're in the mix and you're seeing what the process is, Lathan, like Ron Rivera, like a renowned NFL head coach, is now the general manager for the University of California, the Cal Bears. And again, you weren't there when we played Cal. Like, there's not a lot there. The only thing really Cal's known for is the band storming the field. Back in like the 70s. So anyways, that being said, what is this now? What is your take now on college football having general managers starting to look and feel and act a lot like the NFL? Like, how do you see it going? Because you came in, there wasn't NIL, and then boom, now there's NIL, and you're in the mix. And now, we've had Mark Pantoni, who does a phenomenal job with talent acquisition at Ohio State, but now you're getting former NFL guys, you're getting former NFL coaches coming to college. Like, what do you think how this is changing college football moving forward?
Yeah, first of all, it's crazy that you bring up Cal. Cal was actually my first offer, so it's funny seeing them how much they've changed. But yeah, when you said that right now, I was looking extremely hard to become a general manager. Like, I know that's not normal, but I mean, man, I think that that's good that Cal gets a general manager, but I think more for the players that. I mean, being a young kid coming on to college, now you got to turn into a professional extremely quick. I mean, me being a senior and being here for a long time, my perspective was, already changed. And being the older guys, I understood that, this is a job. This is a job now. It's been a job since I got here, but now they're actually, paying you to do this, and you got standards to uphold. And I mean, if you're not doing it right, I think that eventually it's going to lead to, players, being punished or getting in trouble. And you know how, you get taxed and all that in the NFL. It's probably going to lead down to college. And I think it's cool to see that, but I think it's also is, when NIL first started, it was a little out of control. So, now they gain more people, they get better understanding and learning from the NFL. It's going to calm down and I think, be a lot more organized.
Hey, I got one more on this because I saw it. I'm sorry, guys, that I don't have the thing for you to pull it up, but I saw it from Kirby Smart just talking about how it's significantly more difficult to coach guys hard and them to not get offended. So the question is this, is that because of NIL? Is it because of upbringing? Is it because of culture? Is it because of the generation? Because you're in the building, you're in the midst of it. Like, do you think at Ohio State, like, guys want to be coached hard? Like, is that just like a Georgia thing and it's like sporadic? How do you take a comment like guys today, meaning his players, get offended when you get coached really hard?
Yeah, I feel like it could be a little bit of everything. I think that, the Georgia program has been so successful for a long time and they do a great job bringing great players in that I don't feel that, it's necessarily the players, but I think, with NIL, there's definitely that possibility of, players feeling entitled. I think that's the one problem with NIL is when you get players coming in as freshmen making millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and now they're getting yelled at and screamed at by a coach. There's definitely, I think, feel some entitlement, and that's what was nice, I feel like, from our team in Ohio State is we had so many players that have been here for 3 to 4 years, 5 years, to where we were getting the NIL on the back end. Like, we have already played 100 snaps and, have earned somewhat of that money, whether than you're coming in with 0 snaps getting paid $100,000 before you've been through a mat drill, an extremely hard workout. Like, we had been through mat drills, workouts to where we had already been coached and understood, how the process goes and how you got to earn that, to where when you're coming in as a young 16-year-old and I'm getting paid just as much as these coaches, and then they're yelling at me, which is I can see where that might struggle and stuff. But I think at Ohio State we don't deal with that just because they do such a great job recruiting great men, also great players. So I think Coach Day does that, and then Coach Mick is not letting any of that slide. Any 5-star, however good you are, he's going to humble you immediately. So I think that balance allows the players to be coachable.
How much of that goes into that relationship? I know we talked a lot about OG and the relationship and Guerreri and those guys and all those things, and you see that. And then I was watching you on the side, and Tim's got his Faithful Friday again, and you're right there, and you're seeing that. Like, how much of that plays into that relationship piece to allowing guys to get coached hard?
Yeah, I think that relationship piece is huge. One thing I always respect about Coach Mick is, when I got here as a freshman, I see Justin Fields, and then I see players like me and in my class. He gonna coach everybody the same. I think by doing that is even coach probably Justin Fields harder than he's coaching me. As a younger guy, seeing that, man, it makes you first of all want to earn that respect, but knowing that Coach Mick treats everyone the same makes you want to play just as hard and work just as hard. And then Coach Walton doing such a great job of making sure our faith and understanding that, we're not, all the materialistic things doesn't matter. At the end of the day, still being a man of God and understanding, that part of your life, it brings you back down to earth. I think, when you get all these materialistic things and you start thinking of you just as a football player, you just as you got 100,000 Instagram followers, like that can get to your head. But when at the end of the day, when you just remember that, you're a man of faith and your religion, man, it brings you back down to earth.
So I got 2 more questions for you here, and one of them is something that people have been kind of throwing in the chat. Before we get to the final one, you've been watching the NCAA tournament. Kind of, what have your takeaways been? Is that something that you kind of dive into here on this last weekend?
Yeah, being able to travel a lot, I didn't get to watch a lot, but I watched yesterday. One of my friends plays on Tennessee, actually. He went to my high school, grew up with me. His name's Jordan Gady. And so I got to watch them yesterday and watch them win. And I'm excited. I mean, I saw one of the big upsets. Pretty sure was it Clemson. Clemson got upset. So I got to see that. And I remember I think 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I really was like invested in watching, the brackets for the first time. And man, March Madness is definitely, I think, one of the most entertaining tournaments in all of college sports. And I think just being so many different cool stories of teams, making their runs, and I think it's a lot. I mean, it's starting to get a lot more similar to, college football getting a little more similar to that, with the transfer portal and stuff. But seeing them small teams, man, them great stories and then them great runs. I love watching March Madness. So I can't wait to, now that I'm settled in back at home to, tune into those games.
Absolutely. And then final question here. I mean, Lathan, you're always welcome to come on as much or as little as you want with us. And we love having you, and everybody talks about how great you are. You're such a great ambassador for, the program and the state and everything else. But people are asking, like, hey, for a player next year, who would be someone would be good to maybe have on during the season? And I was thinking about some guys, and it's a little different. You guys had so many veteran players last year. Is there anyone in your mind that you think would be good that wants to maybe get into media, or maybe a couple of guys you can throw out that, hey, these guys might be good to kind of touch base with and see what they've got if this is something they kind of want to pursue?
Oof, that's a good question. The first player that comes to mind, I would say Sonny, but Sonny's so serious.
Yeah.
I don't know if he wants to come out here. It's because once you get to know Sonny, he actually has a lot of personality. But I'm really curious. I would say Davidson. You can get Davidson on here. He has a lot of personality. He's gonna keep it real, keep it unhinged, and I think he would enjoy that opportunity. So you'd have to give me a little bit to brainstorm and think about different players.
Listen, you're always, like I said, you come touch base as much as you want when you're busy in the NFL. I mean, schedule will be a little different, so probably more like a Tuesday thing. when you guys are off. But yeah, we'll figure that out. But yeah, as people were asking, I was like, Sonny, he is funny, but he's very dry, and it takes a while to get him to open up. So maybe we could do that with him. Davidson, that's like the other end of the spectrum. Like,
Exactly.
him and Jermaine, like, dude, we got to get the mute button on him to lock him down with everything. It was unbelievable talking to Caleb about those guys because they were in the strength room. They're in the little coach's office last week, and they were talking. And, like, they just started yelling at each other. And I'm like, guys, no one in here is yelling. Like, why are you getting so loud? Like, and by the way, he's agreeing with you, so you don't need to, like, shout him down. And Caleb just shakes his head. He's like, this is just who they are. He's like, no, you're yelling at the wrong thing. So it's all good, man. We appreciate it, Lathan. Get some rest, get stretched, get ready to go. I can't wait to watch you run and do everything on Wednesday. And we'll catch up again soon.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys.
Lathan Ransom, one of our favorites. All right, Schlegs, you got to dip on out of here?
I got to dip on out of here, bro. I appreciate you guys.
Schlegs is on out of here. Coming back, we got some big headlines we're going to hit. Schlegs, go do some work, and we'll catch up again tomorrow.
Hey, Ryan, how the heck do I get our Big Play app?
Experience Cleveland's fastest growing sports network, Big Play. Packed with Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, talking Cleveland sports at any time, anywhere. Scan the QR code to download the Big Play app.
I love you, Big Play, and I love you, Cleveland.
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer flavored beer. So we got some headlines here. We're going to start off, as you popped up right there. Schlegs touched on it, the Kirby Smart situation, coaching guys hard. And I think this is key. And it's something that they're able to do at Ohio State. And Lathan touched it. And I always say it's about the relationships, man. And, there's some stuff that happened, some girls basketball. We'll get into this but in a minute. But, let's listen to Kirby Smart talking about coaching dudes hard.
We are a work in progress. We have the least number of players who have gone through 3 spring practices since I've been here. So that should tell you something. I asked the guys to stand up who have practiced at least 3 spring practices. So this obviously would make their 4th, and there was basically nobody standing. We have a very young, inexperienced group. We really can't practice to our standard because they're all tired. So we go to practice and it's like great energy, great in shorts, guys learn what to do. And then we start going and it's like, they can't go. We have to coach it. I mean, that's what they get. That's what they pay us to do, to coach them. They have to be willing to receive coaching. And on the whole, my whole preach after the practice was, we got a lot of guys that put their hands up. They're offended when you coach them. I'm not talking about the freshmen. I'm talking about in general.
Talk about coaching hard. And there's a fine line. I always tell people that coach my kids, listen, you do what you need to do to get the best out of them. And there's a difference between coaching young men and young women, how you handle things. And I'm not advocating ever putting hands on players, especially young ladies, because that's too much. But you've got to be able to get in to people's faces. And the amount of times that I was playing where, there was coaches that grabbed me, grabbed my shoulder pad or whatever it was to help get my attention because I was less than accepting of that coaching, And when you're 18, 19, 20, you think you know it all. And then you get to one day you turn into Lathan Ransom and it's like, hey, after a couple of years, you figure it out and then you're a phenomenal young human being. But everybody thinks they know it all when they're 18 and 19 years old. Especially now you dump lots of money on some of these kids. And I don't even blame them for this because they've been given all of the trappings of success that usually it takes the work and discipline to be able to get there. And at Ohio State, they've done a great job creating those relationships, and they're honest with guys about things. And like the first question isn't about money and about this and NIL and all these things. Like, hey, are you a fit for our program? This is how we coach it. This is how we play it. This is how we interact together. And if those things don't align, well then, dude, NIL, like that's nonsense because you're not going to be a fit here anyway. And so like digging into that is key, and developing those relationships is key. And so that's when we always talk about it. And I watched Tim Walton. I talked about CJ or Cooper Witten being up here and talking to the Wittens at different places and everything, and what people say, and what they're saying about NIL and this and that. And he just wants to play ball. Like, some of that turns guys off. Like, yeah, everybody's getting paid, and we'll deal with that when that's a part of it. But is that the first thing? Like, keep the main thing the main thing. And the main thing is playing football and playing football well. And then all the other stuff comes with that. But the only way you get better is by being corrected. And there's a quote that one of my teachers used to tell me in grad school: feedback is a gift. And it may not always feel good, but as you get older, you understand if no one's coaching, you're not improving. And you're never, I've never played a perfect play. I've never had a perfect snap. There's always something. Could you bend your knees a little more? Could you had this step be a little better? Could your eye control been a little better? You may have made a great play, but I guarantee you there's some coaching points. Like, if that wouldn't have happened in the way that it did, this may have got you. And so, like Kirby said, that's what they're paid to do. So those guys get paid the big bucks to be able to coach. And so they've got a lot of stuff. And a part of it is now guys transfer, hop in the portal, go somewhere else. I'm going to get coached by someone else who likes me more. Well, the reality is if they're coaching you hard, it's because they want you to get better, and they know that there's better in there. And the old adage, like when they don't get worried until they stop yelling. And so understanding that is critical, and that's key, but you have to have the relationship to be able to understand what that means and how you can push on somebody really hard because they know that you inherently care a great deal about them. And that's incredibly important. So that's a big piece of it, a huge piece, as a matter of fact. Another headline of something that was happening, and this we're going to get to down at Georgia. And this is one thing like you take for granted at Ohio State, that we haven't had any off the field problems with the players. And it's because there's great young men that are there, and even great young men make mistakes. But there's an issue down at Georgia. And listen, I know you think you're invincible when you're 19, 20, 21. I did. Everybody does. Like, dude, you're 200 whatever pounds, you're fast, you're strong, like you're different than other people. But they've had a speeding issue down there at Georgia. And my goodness, you got more guys now getting arrested for speeding. And it is wild because you already had somebody lose their life. And like that usually is the wake-up call. But you've got offensive lineman Marcus Easley, arrested for speeding, driving his car to a apartment complex, last week. And you see that and you're like, my gosh. And like, I don't necessarily blame Kirby. And I never like to blame coaches for the decisions that young men make because they're not their dad. And they're definitely not them. But at some point, like, are you bringing the right guys in? What is the culture that has been created? Because it's happened so many times and there's already been dire consequences for this. I'm not sure how you correct it at that point. Like, I'm not sure how you solve that problem because there's a lot of stuff going on there. And so like being able to get into that and figure it out, oh my gosh. But like Kirby, like they got some issues, but like I said, someone has already lost their life. So you would think that would be the wake-up call that everybody needed. And then you see more of this and you're like, goodness gracious, folks, like we got to be better than this. And thankfully this doesn't happen at Ohio State and it's been isolated to Georgia, but I think Kirby runs a pretty good program. I'm trying to figure out, why is this happening? Why is this piece of this occurring down there over and over again? All right, well, that's it for our headlines. Coming up next, we got our tailgate talk where we answer your questions. We had some great questions coming in from the comments section on Friday. We'll dive into those next in the Bobby Carpenter Show.
Hey, Ryan, how the heck do I get our Big Play app?
Experience Cleveland's fastest growing sports network, Big Play. Packed with Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, talking Cleveland sports at any time, anywhere. Scan the QR code to download the Big Play app.
I love you, Big Play, and I love you, Cleveland.
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink garage beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage beer, beer-flavored beer. Welcome back in the Bobby Carpenter Show, and now we got our tailgate talk brought to you by friends at Real Truck. Outfit your truck, Jeep, Bronco. Bring it to life with at realtruck.com. Get it accessorized for this spring. I tell you all the time about my Jeep. Got the winch on there, bed cover for the truck, interior, exterior. They've got it all. Go to realtruck.com like Schlegs and I have done. All right. Some comments coming in from last week's show. We got Rob underscore W78 said Schlegs could coach any sport. The way he talks, he can relate to any person, any sport. I'm a civilian juiced to the brim every time he speaks. And there's a lot of truth in that. And then followed up, like, I appreciate that. I love maximizing all people from our guy, Anthony Schlegel. And that's whenever I need a big boost, Rob, like I'm dealing with some problems, talking through some stuff, I go to my guy, Mr. Schlegel, because he's going to give it to you. All right, we were talking a lot about basketball, bringing in coaches. You know, Cal and Arkansas, they're now in the Sweet 16. They upset St. John's on Saturday. People are like, why didn't they bring in him? They could have brought in Calipari, or they could have brought in Patino, all these different guys. And Garen throws out here, if they would have brought in Patino, I'd have burned my gear. And so, like, there's a lot of people with strong feelings against him, you know, and he had a 2 seed. I had his team in the Final Four. Frankly, I just wanted to see him take a fourth team to a Final Four, which would have been pretty remarkable. It would have been a huge feat that he would have done. And yeah, it's wild. But yeah, he's not necessarily the greatest guy off the court, and he's got some issues, but he's a really good basketball coach. And then I'll finish this one up in parting thoughts. We're going to take a quick break, and my last one is going to come from my guy, Doug. Stay tuned here on the Bobby Carpenter Show.
Hey, Ryan, how the heck do I get our Big Play app?
Experience Cleveland's fastest growing sports network, Big Play. Packed with Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, talking Cleveland sports at any time, anywhere. Scan the QR code to download the Big Play app.
I love you, Big Play, and I love you, Cleveland.
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage beer. Beer-flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink garage beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage beer, beer-flavored beer. We're going to wrap up the show here with our parting thoughts, and final one, little extension of tailgate talk, is from Doug Shepard Sr. Said, I absolutely like the women's game college basketball better than men's because the team approached offense instead of isolation in the men's game. I love good ball movement in the half-court game and passing the ball up the court on the break. And that is true. Like, if you like just watching pure ball movement in basketball, the women's game, I find it more entertaining at some points, especially at the highest levels. So Buckeye women's still playing. You got Tennessee Sunday afternoon. But that's it for today with the Bobby Carpenter Show. Stay tuned. Stay locked in. We'll get you caught up on all the spring ball news at 12:30 on Tuesday.
Hey, Ryan, how the heck do I get our Big Play app?
Experience Cleveland's fastest growing sports network, Big Play. Packed with Cleveland's favorite sports personalities, talking Cleveland sports at any time, anywhere. Scan the QR code to download the Big Play app.
I love you, Big Play, and I love you, Cleveland.
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage beer. Beer flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool and doesn't taste like. I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink garage beer. It's American.